I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. The fight continues for women and minorities to have equal rights, to make decisions about their own bodies or equal pay, for the future that our children can be proud of. For 3 years now, women march and will continue to for justice.
Since the first Women's March in 2017, we've kind of seen this building movement of women engaging and being involved. This past November, we elected the most women to Congress that we have yet, and that was a great accomplishment. And I think that women are energized and excited to keep engaging.
We're more than 50% of the population, and that should be really reflected in our representation, not only in Congress, but in our local school boards, our city councils, and the state governments.
This system is penalizing women, it's penalizing people of color, it's especially penalizing women who are people of color. And so working together with all races, all ethnicities, people of all faiths and no faith at all is absolutely crucial.
To spread the message of equality, they sang, they listened, and marched.
We have lots of students groups tabling here today, from the progressives to the college Democrats to Michigan Movement working on homelessness issues and University Students Against Rape. We also have the NAACP and the YMCA and the League of Women Voters. And people are meeting each other and making connections.
Fighting for women's rights really means fighting for all of the other ways that we want to see our world a more just and equitable place.
We've been able to vote for 100 years, but we still don't have equal rights.
We've got a fight on our hands. We have to keep going. This really, I believe that the fight for the rights of women and non-binary people have just begun.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly with more news and information. To ensure our citizens are safe in the event of any emergency, city personnel are always keeping up to date on the latest safety protocols. Watch as the Ann Arbor Fire Department trains to combat dangerous fire emergencies. The AAFD worked in conjunction with Oakland Community College to learn the best methods to extinguish flashover fires.
This training teaches firefighters fire behavior, and they actually experience a flashover, which is the combustion of all of the contents in the room at a single time. So this is a flashover in a controlled environment.
Inside the training trailer, firefighters will learn the warning signs to these life-threatening fire emergencies.
A flashover is where a compartment within the fire building, everything catches on fire at the same time. So once we reach a flashover, if firefighters are in there, our gear will start to fail, our air packs will start to fail. Some pre-flashover conditions are a significant change of heat. The smoke will start to become very thick. Visibility will decrease, and there'll also be what are called fingers of fire that'll start to move across the ceiling. The best thing that somebody can do to prevent a fire death in your house is make sure you've got working smoke detectors. The other thing we recommend is make sure that you have an escape plan.
As the weather changes, we will see more and more people walking to their next destination. But as a pedestrian, there are some safety tips you should keep in mind as you travel around the area. Learn about the responsibility of the pedestrian in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hi, I'm Officer Jamie Adkins with the Ann Arbor Police Department, and I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about pedestrian safety. Now, we all know here in the city of Ann Arbor, vehicles are supposed to stop for pedestrians at crosswalks. However, here are some tips that you can do as a pedestrian to help keep yourself safe when crossing the street. Make sure that you stand clear of bushes, of buses, of parked cars, garbage cans, so that drivers are able to see you at the crosswalk. Also, at night, make sure you're wearing bright colored clothing or reflective materials so that you're more readily visible to vehicles. And also make sure that you're crossing in well-lit areas. Be careful at crossings. Cross streets at marked crosswalks or intersections. Obey traffic signals such as walk and don't walk signs. Look left, look right, look left again when you're crossing, just like you were taught in kindergarten. Most importantly, look across all lanes of traffic and visually clear each lane before crossing. And lastly, put away those smartphones and pay attention to where you're crossing. Thank you, and keep yourself safe.
Do you ever think about the past and how it's influenced your life today? When you consider your own actions and how they're just a speck on the radar of everything that will happen before and after you are gone. Now.Here.This follows 4 friends on a visit to the Natural History Museum as they learn about each other and life's limitless possibilities. Joining me is Aaron C. Wade, director of the Ann Arbor Civic Theater's production of Now.Here.This. Welcome back to the show, Aaron.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about Now.Here.This and what sort of attracted you to this show.
It is the spiritual successor to the development team's first show, title of show. And it's about kind of understanding that you don't have to live up to expectations of society, and you don't have to have every minute of your life planned out. And the kind of a twist in this one is that there is no real conflict other than the fact that they need to understand how they overcame the conflicts of their past. And that's through exploring these different exhibits and talking to each other on a day together. They can, free up their minds and appreciate the time that they have.
And why did you want to do the show? You were kind of telling me a little bit before the show about how it kind of relates to your life.
It relates to my life and a lot of people's lives because they are always going and doing and having to plan and
always on the move.
Always going and doing and moving, and it's time to just stop and look around and appreciate where you are and what you're doing at this moment and kind of take it all in and respect the time that you have.
So this was a off-Broadway show originally?
Yes.
Have you seen it before?
I had not seen it. I had only heard the music because of my interest in the first one, title of the show. And I said, what else has this group done? And most of them are just writers and collaborators for other things, and they decided to just have fun, and they brought along their 4th friend, and they just put together another show because they had such a good time with the first one.
And this is a musical.
It is a musical and a comedy, and there's also some moments that kind of sober you up and make you go, oh my goodness, that's really something.
Mm-hmm. So when is the show?
The show goes up on March 29th and runs through that weekend, and then April 5th through the 7th.
Yeah, so you have 6 opportunities to see it. It's a studio series show?
Yes.
So that you go to the Ann Arbor Civic, so there's not as many tickets as you would normally get at
Correct, but you do have more chances to go see
it. Yeah, so you get 6 chances. You said capacity is about 40 people.
Yeah.
How do you get tickets?
You can go to the Ann Arbor Civic website, a2ct.org, or you can call, and that information's on the website as well.
And you can just show up and buy tickets the day of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about the cast and how you've enjoyed working with this cast on this show?
Yeah, coincidentally, they had all been in the same show together before, and so I had a lot of exercises on getting some cast bonding, and I didn't have to employ those because they had this pre-existing relationship with each other.
Isn't that weird? Because did you know, you didn't know that going in?
I did not know that. I mean, I don't precast anything. I kind of keep my eyes on the radar and see who's going to show up to auditions, and then it just so happened that these 4 individuals came one day, 2 the other day, and oh well, I guess that works really well. They had a great chemistry, and the great performances, amazing singing and acting abilities.
Wow, that's awesome that it worked out like that. And I think it's special for them because I think you put all your time and energy into a show and you really get to know these people and you create bonds with them, but then you might never be in a show again. So the fact that they've been able to do 2 together is pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. So what about the set. So it's a museum. So is it minimal because we're in the studio?
It is a minimal set, and we're going to use just a few platforms and a center podium with a projection screen in the back to kind of relate that they're in a different room or they're in a different location or in a different space in their own mind, reflecting on a memory or something. And it's super simple. They're like probably the simplest set and props category I've ever had. There's a turtle and there's a hat and there's some clothes and not much else.
Not really costume changes, right? Because it's over one day.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes they have to jump between characters within seconds, and so it's really just how they hold themselves or how they turn their head. It's kind of that delineation.
So have you had any challenges with this show, or?
The biggest challenges I found was just getting the word out, because it's really hard to promote for the second stage series. It's, you know, like the main stage is like what the big focus is, and everyone wants to go see the bigger plays and the bigger musicals. This one, I really feel passionate about because of just how important the message is of just, you know, focusing on living your life.
Yeah, taking life in instead of always doing the next thing. What do I have next on my agenda?
Right.
So what was maybe your highlight from the show so far?
I would have to say watching them create their own relationships in these characters, because the characters themselves are written as the people who wrote it, and then they say right in the guidelines for doing this, put yourself into these roles as well, and just, you know, place your own personality into this, because it one makes the director's job a lot easier, makes the choreographer's job a lot easier, because they're just a lot of the stuff they're doing, they created themselves, and they're encouraged to.
Well, and it's interesting because you mentioned like a lot of people want to go see the bigger shows at the bigger theaters, but I've been an actress and viewer at the studio series, and I actually really like the intimacy of it. You're very close to the action, and it's a different sort of feeling than you get when you're at one of the bigger theaters.
Yeah, when I read through the script the first time, I saw that there was a lot of similarities between a lot of the later portions of it and something I had seen when I went to Eastern Michigan University is the close-up theater troupe, where they have a lot of really current issues that they impress upon people, and coincidentally, the two male actors are from Close-Up.
Oh, yeah. Are ticket prices different for the studio series?
They are. I do not remember what they are.
But they're probably a little less.
They're less, yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
why should people come see Now.Here.This?
they should come see it because it's a very funny show. The music is incredible, just like it is from the previous. So there's a lot of funny parts. There's some really touching moments. It'll you know, tug at your heartstrings here and there, and it's also short. It's only about 90 minutes.
So it's not. Is there a break? Is there an
There
intermission?
is no, they give you the opportunity, but we're gonna
Skip it?
not do that because the first part of the show is shorter than the second part, so it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, it's like about a 90-minute run, so it's most people can.
That's like going to see a movie.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.